Hi and welcome to another gaming video, and in today's video I am taking a look at Tetris Worlds for the Game Boy Advance. Now, as you know, I'm a big fan of Tetris for the original Game Boy. I even quite like Tetris DX for the Game Boy Color, so I was quite interested to see what Tetris on a Game Boy Advance would look like and what it would bring. So this is Tetris Worlds. It brings with it lots of new different styles of gameplay, which I haven't really tried, but it's nice to see some additional types of gameplay. But for me, I am looking at just standard Tetris because that's all most people are interested in. So this is what Tetris Worlds looks like on a Game Boy Advance, and as you can see, there's lots of background animations, and they're not fantastic. They look like animated GIFs to me. I know this is a Game Boy Advance, but they just don't look very good. There's too much distraction on the screen. You've got these jellyfish that sort of swim from side to side. Then occasionally you'll get these little coloured blocks, I think with faces on, that dart from one side and hover up behind the screen. And then sometimes those little face blocks will come across in front of your blocks, and it's very distracting. I'm not keen on that feature at all. Tetris should be Tetris. It should allow you to concentrate. Then we move on to, let's move on to the music, because the music is absolutely awful. I don't know what they were doing, and normally I play Tetris with the music off, but because I was so unimpressed with the music on this Tetris Worlds, I thought I would show it just so you could see what I was talking about. If we then take a look at the blocks themselves, they're coloured, so each tetromino is a different colour, which I like, but they look like children's toys. It's really hard to sort of pin it down as to why I don't like it so much. It's just a bit too brightly coloured, and there's no features or no shading etc. on the blocks themselves. So in previous versions of Tetris, you could tell that each block was made up of 4 different squares. They're just solid shapes, and I don't like it. Now, I think some of the features that they've brought in with Tetris Worlds, such as the hard drop, the preview of the block as it's coming down, and the fact that you can see 3 ahead, so 3 future blocks, so you can tell which blocks are coming. I like those features, but the rest of it I am not keen on at all. It's just, I don't know, it's as if they just had to push out a Tetris version for the Game Boy Advance without really putting much thought into it. I am not a fan of this, and I thought it was just me. Maybe I was just being a bit too picky. So I asked my son, who is a huge Tetris fan, we even call him the Tetris tester, and he had the same opinion of me. It's just something about Tetris Worlds on the Game Boy Advance. Well, there's quite a few things about Tetris Worlds on the Game Boy Advance that we don't like. So you've got the awful music, the distracting background animations, and the sort of coloured blocks all being one solid piece. And he really did not like these floating square face things that go from side to side and then occasionally come in front of it. So no, as a big fan of Tetris, I was quite disappointed, because the Game Boy Advance is a huge step up in hardware from the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, and they could have done so much with it, but instead they just released this. So not impressed at all. Really cannot see me playing this very much. I much prefer the original Tetris or Tetris DX. So let me know what you think. I'm going to carry on and leave some gameplay up here. Let me know if you're a fan of Tetris Worlds, if you think it's a good version or not. Like, subscribe, enjoy.